coming back home here this next week, playing night game in Morgantown. First night game we played all year, as y'all know. So sometimes changing of routine is good, and I think this is a good time to be able to do that. One thing we learned, I guess we learned this a long time ago in this league, is you got to play your best every week to win, to be successful. It's a tough league. There's only a few teams in college football over the course of a year where if you don't play your best, you still have an opportunity to win. That's not us. So we got to understand that. We got to prepare hard. I know we will. One thing that, in speaking with the team on Sunday night, was very apparent that our guys want to win and they want to be successful. They were disappointed in it, but they're realistic to the point to where they know that you just get back to work. Been doing this for a long time, and I understand that, and the 20 seniors understand that, so that's what we're going to do. We'll prepare hard for playing against Kansas. We'll practice as usual. We'll get out there and come up with the best game plan that we can. Try to get our guys in the right frame of mind for Saturday. Put our best foot forward so we'll have a chance to win. That's what this is about, and that's what we're going to do. So Kansas offensively, David Beatty is calling the plays this year. Is a really good offensive football coach. Been at some good places. Doing some good things offensively. I guess the thing that sticks out more than anything is they're turning the ball over too much. we can't rely on them to turn the ball over. We got to force them, and that's what happened to us last week. So we got to get back to where we're forcing turnovers, much like we did 2 weeks ago, and we can't rely on them just to give it to us. So that's kind of the message with the defense. Played two different quarterbacks, Cozart and Willis, both have good experience. got a couple of difference-making receivers that you'll see. Number one, Gonzalez is dynamic, transfer from A&M, national recruit out of high school, and then Sims, a little kid out of Houston, is doing some good things as well. So be a good challenge for us defensively. Offense, we got some work to do. These guys are pretty steady. A lot of respect for Clint Bowen. We've heard that name before. He's been there for as long as we've been in the Big 12. He's been their defensive coach. Was their interim guy there for a little while. Very respected in the business. Does a great job with their defense. Got some good young players that are up and coming. They've got DN, the Armstrong kid, number 2, has got a sack in each of the last, I think, 7 games, 6 games, something like that. Is playing really well. 2 senior corners. A couple years ago, they had a couple of corners I thought were as good as anybody that are in the NFL now. These guys are good. They got a couple of corners that can really play. Pretty stout against the run up front. Do a good job with pressure. They play hard. One thing that you'll see on their team more than anything is the amount of energy that they play with. So we got to get out there and start fast if we want to get accomplished what we want to get accomplished in this game. So it'll be a challenge. We know that, and our guys understand that. We'll work hard to see if we can't get back on track here this week. Coach.
Besides turnovers, what offensive improvements do you need compared from last week?
We got to score. We still didn't meet our goal with touchdowns in the red zone. We were 4 for 4, which that's good. We were just outside the red zone when we missed a field goal. That was a pitiful 3-play sequence. After we had momentum, we moved it all the way down the field. We 3 horrible plays, and then we missed the field goal. But we just got to keep drives going. We got to get the ball in the end zone. It's been an issue with this team. We got to score more. We're still not scoring what we need to do to be successful. This past week, that was I'll get this out of the way. I mean, it was an evenly matched game, and it was an evenly played game for the exception of 3 plays. You take those 3 plays away, I don't know if we win, because we still gotta, it's a tie game. We still gotta do a better job of finishing drives and scoring touchdowns. We scored 2 touchdowns. Hell, we scored more against them last year than we did this year. It's not good enough. Gotta score more. Yeah, and I ain't gonna sit here and focus on the turnovers and all that. I mean, we've been good with it throughout the course of the year. I think when you look at it, I think Oklahoma State was they give them credit. They played pretty good. They played hard. They played fast. When you turn on the video, you can see that their effort was a little bit better. Their speed was a little bit better. And when you play like that, you force turnovers, and they forced turnovers. We played like that against TCU, and we forced turnovers. So we're capable of forcing them. We're capable of keeping, of preventing them. We just got to be in the right frame of mind. We will be this Saturday.
How do you approach it now? It's start over, or last week was a bump in the road, or not start over but pick up where you left off a few weeks ago?
Well, we're disappointed in losing. There's no question. I mean, that's unfortunate. We were how close to having a couple losses earlier in the year. So I mean, it's not the end of the world. I mean, if you pin your whole season off of 1 loss, then there's going to be there's going to be 99% disappointed people across the country. So it's college football. It happens, and what you got to do is you got to use it as motivation to go out there and practice harder and prepare harder. And go out and have the understanding that you have to be playing at the best of your ability every single week. I mean, Oklahoma State's a good football team, and they were 5-2. So their motivational level looked to me like it was a little higher than ours. I mean, as opposed to us being motivated and going out and playing for some revenge and playing real hard, we're the ones that are being hunted at that point when you get to that situation. So you can't let it affect the next game. You gotta regroup. You gotta prepare hard. You gotta practice hard. I know our guys want to win. I know they want to get out there. This group likes each other. They like playing. They like practicing, and that's what we'll do on Saturday.
Is there any update right now with Michelle's injury after Saturday?
No, couldn't go. So we'll see what he does today.
The other guys that left.
Who was that? Crawford, don't know. I think those are the only 2, so they're day to day. There's nothing long-term or season ending on either one of them.
How do you generate more explosive plays in the running game? Is it a matter of downfield blocking? What do you
That's
see?
some of it. That's some of it. Making guys miss is a big one. Downfield blocking, it was not as good last week as it was against TCU. And I think that has something to do with effort. I think that has something to do with the mentality that you have. Guys are committed to stopping the run. I mean, they were squeezing the box hard. That's why we threw it 40 times, more than half the time. So, that's not going to change. Guys are going to start, they're going to try to stop the run, which means we got to block better, which means we got to make a guy miss at times. And we're average when it comes to that.
You mentioned on the Howard fumble, somebody missed a block on that. It happened on that play. The line play overall in that game.
Okay. Not bad, not great. We had 4 sacks. 2 of them were on the O-line. 2 of them were on the quarterback. Threw it over 40 times. I mean, we're not talking about a catastrophe. It's better than it was at any point last year. That's not what happened. We had adequate time to throw the football.
Dana, status on Xavier Pegisi, you said at the start of the year that November was sort of a timeline.
Hadn't practiced yet, so don't know.
Think he'll ever get back this year?
I doubt it.
Any extra motivation with the 7 o'clock start for your student athletes?
Well, yeah, it's fun. Night games are fun. Hadn't had one. What game is this? 8? This 8? So I think it'd be good. Like I said, I think it's good to change routine every now and then. I know Mountaineer Nation gets fired up about night games, so I know our players will too. Good time for that.
You've been a quarterback coach. How do you approach Skyler? He didn't have a great game 2 weeks ago and didn't have a great game this week. How do you approach him to get him back up there?
Well, I mean, there's a confidence issue with that. I mean, I think Skyler's played well over the course of the whole year. The better you play, the higher the expectations are. Nobody has higher expectations for him than him. So, it's to me, it's the same thing with him. I mean, we gotta give him confidence. We gotta teach him the game plan. We gotta get him out there and we gotta practice hard. And he's gotta feel the game plan, understand what we're asking him to do, and he probably needs to, reduce a little pressure that he puts on himself and go out there and just play the game. He's better when he just goes out there and plays the game. Loves to play the game. But he does have high expectations for himself. That's a good quality that he has. It's our job to make sure those don't get too high for him.
Coach, in the Big 12, obviously offense is sort of a mainstay there. But defense, if you look back over the past couple of years, whoever has the best defense is usually pretty good running for the Big 12 title. Where does that fit in with this conference thing? No one ever talks about defense as much.
Well, it's, defense wins championships and offense sells tickets talk. It applies, and it's understanding why it does apply. So we've done a lot of things to try to improve defensively over the last 3-4 years, and obviously we have. And, Coach Gibson deserves a lot of credit for that, and our players deserve a lot of credit for that. And, the expectations that we have for how we play defense here is probably a little higher than at some other places. Didn't think we played awful last week defensively, and didn't play good enough to win. Same exact thing can be said for the offense. There's no doubt, and even more so. So, that when we win is when we play well together. I don't care if it's offense or defense or special teams or whatever. When we win, we play well together. That's the formula of this team. So we need to get back to playing well together.
Where's Jerome Wesco at now compared to where he was, obviously, when he was injured? It looks like you got to get him more involved. He's double back.
Trying. He's still a little raw. He's still a little green. He missed last year with an injury. He missed camp with an injury. I think he's got a chance to be a good player for us. Not really doing anything to change the game at this point, but we're trying. We're trying.
Are you a different team without Joe? I mean, a different.
No, I think it's a valid question. He's a strong presence. He's a strong presence in meetings. He's practicing really well this year. He's a strong presence in the locker room. He's a strong presence on the sidelines. He plays with anger and intensity. We need more than one back. I mean, we've been through this for quite a while now where, he's our starter for a reason, but I think Justin Crawford's going to continue to get better and better. I think Kennedy McCoy is going to continue to get better and better. When this happens, those guys need to step in and play. And I thought both of them did, but they went in and played okay, so. That's not going to be any different this week. That's not going to be any different for the remaining 4 games as well. But we need him on our sidelines, and I would prefer him to be dressed out and playing.
Moving forward, what are the areas of emphasis in regard to recruiting? Are there some spots that you really want to emphasize this round?
Yeah, bigger, faster, stronger guys. Guys who score, guys who block, guys who tackle. I mean, we will. That, you know, recruiting's it's always changing. I mean, you know, your needs are always changing. So you know, we didn't decide we needed Justin Crawford until Wendell declared. So I mean, that's always kind of a change. But now it's going pretty good. You know, everything. We're not at that point where we've narrowed it down. I mean, if you look at it, we need probably one of everything. So we're not going to turn down good players based on what we have already. So we got a certain amount of spots left and guys that are on the board, and we'll take them if they want to come.
Along those lines, your success with transfers, graduate transfer, 4-year, whatever, does that sort of change your philosophy in taking more and more of those kids as you move forward?
Now, I tell you where that's helped out is the signing day surprise stuff. You know, you can only send out a certain amount of NLIs, but when you don't get one or two of them back, there's no reason to panic because you can still fill that slot. That's where I've seen that help. You know, there's been times where you send out 25 letters and you get back 22, and you go, that ain't good, because over the course of a couple of years, that can, you know, lower the total number, as we saw what happened here, you know, right around the time I got here. But you can make up those with some guys. You can find guys. You can go through spring practice and say, you know, those corners aren't quite ready to go yet, and go try to find a guy. So it's helped us.
You mentioned back before the season that you thought at some point, if that doesn't result in more master's degrees, that the NCAA might try to squeeze that out a little bit.
Hadn't heard anything. I don't know where they're at on it, honestly. In one sense, you know, I feel like it's the kid's right. You know, if a kid comes here, I mean, they get their degree and they leave without exhausting their eligibility, I feel like I've done my job. You know, ultimately it's about getting their degrees. So, you know, but then there's the other side of it is you let guys in grad school, you kind of want them to get their degree, their master's degree, right? And I don't see that happening very often. Small percentage of them. I don't know what they're going to do. That's above my pay grade. For certain.
Is it safe to say in your offense right now, the thing you're looking for is that explosive play, not necessarily the downfield passing, but a guy catching the ball and making a move and scoring?
Well, that'd be nice. Wouldn't that be nice? God, forget what it's like. Forget what it's like. I don't know.
How do you manage that? How do you get that out?
Stay on your feet. Go score. I don't know. Maybe I ought to pull out some film from way back in the day. I think we got guys that are capable of doing it. And, you know, different things got to happen. Accuracy of the ball, confidence in your ability to do it, the wherewithal of staying on your feet, turning upfield. You know, your dude getting a block, seeing it and going. Hopefully it happen a little bit more moving forward.
Any of the teams are taking away your run as they have the past couple weeks. Surprised that you haven't been able to hit more over the top as far as big plays in the past.
Well, they're. You've seen a lot of intermediate throws.
Yeah.
You've seen a lot more hitches. You've seen more curl routes. You know, over the middle. How many over the middle throws did we have last week? Quite a bit. You know, where I thought Oklahoma State did a fantastic job of tackling because we threw and caught, you know, pretty good, and then the play was over. So, you know, they're not letting us get behind them, and that's something that's not uncommon. I mean, we had to hitch and go Shelton to get behind them. You know, we couldn't get behind them. So you gotta be satisfied with first downs, and you gotta catch it, and you gotta, you know, turn those routine plays into explosive plays like we've been talking about here for the majority of this press conference. And then you gotta do it again in the red zone when you get down there. So it's just offensive football. I mean, I thought Oklahoma State did a great job. We gotta get better at it this week.